Sup?
Was
So we're in here. For those of y'all who don't know, this is Zach. You can check him out at Make Money Mowing on YouTube.
mm,
And we're
mm-hmm,
going to talk about how Zach went from zero online to $10,000 a month he just made and moved to
mm-hmm,
Costa Rica with his fiance. And
mm,
yeah, so this isn't for everyone. Not everyone's going to be able to do what Zach did.
mm-hmm,
But if you take some of the lessons learned from Zach, you'll be able to do some cool things. So first, just
mm-hmm.
welcome in,
Thank you, Chad.
and yeah, could you tell your story about the last couple years, like just
Mm.
from where you were and where you are now?
Okay, so the past couple of years, I went to college when I was 18, and then I got a bachelor's degree in communication, and I graduated when I was 23. And the only reason I went to college was because my parents didn't go themselves. I think my dad dropped out of high school. My mom, she's from the Philippines. I don't even think she started going to college. They just went to high school, and then we moved to America. They wanted me to go to college and get the degree. But that being said, they still had a really powerful landscaping and tree trimming business. My dad's an arborist, and they'd be making over 100,000 every year for the past, like, I don't even know, the past 10 years of my life. And I'm an only child, so I would observe them. When I would be growing up, they would take me on their jobs, and I'd sit in their car and I just watch them do the estimates and do the work and stuff. And I just saw them make a bunch of money. And then all my friends, my parents were the cool ones. Everybody liked them. My parents would take me and my friends to Colorado in the winter to go snowboarding. They'd drive us to different cities to go to skate parks like Dallas, Houston. I was living in San Antonio. And they just always had a bunch of money to just stay home and lounge it, or they'd go to work 5 days in a row and just make a bunch of money. So I just always observed it subconsciously, but I never really put two and two together. So when I went to college, I was thinking like, I don't want to do that work. I don't want to be sweaty. They're always like outside working in the
Mm-hmm.
sun. It's Texas. I didn't want to do that. I thought it was just like straight Mexican work. And I was like, I want to do something in the air conditioner with a computer. And I was like, that's the goal for me. So I got a couple of jobs. Like I was working at a restaurant. I was working at front desk at a retail store.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, okay, these suck, obviously. But when I get my degree, I can get like a real job in the air conditioning and the 9 to 5 and make like 50,000 a year. And then the closer I got to getting my degree, I was realizing my degree is leading me towards sales jobs, HR, PR, like staffing agency type thing is. And I was like, okay, I don't want to do any of that either. Like the more I see like what a 9 to 5 really is, like I absolutely do not want that. So I was like, okay, what do I do? I mowed yards when I was a teenager. My parents would give me some of their customers to do yards up when I was 16 years old, and I hated it. I would do it. They'd force me to do it. I'd make $50 an hour, but I was just like, I don't want to do the work. But then looking back and having all these new jobs as a restaurant server at the retail and all this stuff, and looking forward into the future of the 9 to 5, I was like, okay, I don't want to do that either. I don't even know what the hell I want to do, but I can at least post an ad for long here in the meantime to try to make some money and stay busy, because being at this serving job kind of sucks. I'm making like $60 in like a 5 hour time span. People are shaking their cups at me like to get refills. They're not
Can you get
acknowledging
me
my
some
name.
more
I'm
water,
cleaning.
please?
Huh?
Could you get me
Yeah,
some
they're
more
just like
water, please?
they don't even say that. They just shake the cup and you hear the ice rattling. It's
Yo,
just
there's
super
good money
demeaning.
in serving though. Like a nice restaurant where
Yeah.
you stay, like
Mm,
people make
it
good
was
money.
cool. Like as much as it sucked, it was cool because that was the first job where I had leverage over my income. Because if I was feeling myself and I could go and I could like make them laugh and I could give them a good time, they would give me like a $20 tip on like a 5 person table or something if I was doing a good job. So as lame as serving is, and it sucks to clean noodles off the tables, like it still gave me like a lot of my sales and a lot of like my chutzpah, if you will, like just by having a little angle of like I can make more money if I give more of a of experience to the customer. But
Hey, we don't need to
what?
stop the video, but can you pull that light in front of you? It'd just be better
Oh
lighting.
yeah. Oh yeah, here I could swing it around. I can
Yeah,
do
that
that
looks
better.
way better.
Okay, cool.
What?
So having that job, one of the lunch breaks, like 2 p.m., the slow period, I had my computer with me because I studied for school. I just went on Craigslist and I posted an ad for lawn care. And then I was like, I'm just gonna throw this up. I'm gonna see what happens. I have some tools. My parents will let me use their trimmer and their blower. I can borrow their truck. And I did it. So I posted an ad, and then the next day I got a caller, and it was a lady literally down the street from my house. And then she just had a regular basic residential house, like 5,000 square feet or less, just super cookie cutter residential, say suburbia shaped
Mm-hmm.
house. And then she was like, I need my yard mowed. It was kind of tall, like a foot tall. She had a bunch of dog toys. She had like pit bulls, and there was just a bunch of mess in the yard. And she said, how much to mow the yard? And I said, I don't know. I just drove myself over there. I didn't know what to expect. I just said $45. And she was like, yeah, of course, let's do it. And then she was like, how much to clean all the toys from the ground? Because there's like cotton and stuff from the dog toys. And I said, $20. I didn't even know. I was just throwing out numbers. And she said, okay, when can you do it? And I said, I can come back with my tools right now. So came back, I did the job in maybe an hour and a half with my little janky tools. It was $65 in an hour and a half, or almost an hour and a half. And I realized like I just make that same money that it would take me 5 hours with the restaurant job with people shaking cups and me cleaning noodles, mopping the floor. I just did that in one job in an hour, and I kind of had fun. It was fun using these tools, and like I didn't know what I was doing, but I just made the yard look good. I just kept mowing and mowing, and I just edged it, and it was cool. I blew it off, and that was my first job. And then ever since that one job, I realized like, oh shit, there's something here. I think I didn't even think anything of it. It just made sense and it clicked, and I was like, I need to do this more now, and I can use this to get out of my job. So I did that, and I started getting more customers, and then maybe in the next 3 months I had like 20 customers, and I still wasn't even doing it seriously. I was just like, I wanted to do it, but I was still like going in a different direction every single day because I was young. I was like 21, 22. I didn't know what I wanted, but I was at least getting used to the lawn care. And then after getting 20 customers, I got a little bit more serious with it. And then I left my job. The guy was super sad because I know I'm cool and I know I was his best server, but I told him, I was like, I'm going to go do this because I don't want to be here, but I appreciate you for giving me the job. Because it was my favorite job no matter what. Shout out Tommy. He's this Vietnamese guy.
Shout out to Tommy. If you're
shout
watching
out to Tommy. And, yeah, I hope he is. I think he's in Dallas. I think he said that the restaurant business was like, he found it in a newspaper ad, like in an Asian newspaper ad. He got into it, but he has a what is it called? MBA. And he was like always doing job applications on the computer while being at the restaurant. Like he was trying to get like these high level, like business administration jobs, but he was in the restaurant business because he bought it on a whim. Super different like side story. But so I left the job and then I went all in the lawn care. I graduated like a couple months later because I was like towards the end of my college, and then I was like, okay, I can get the job. Then
was it worth it for you to go to college?
No, I don't think it was at all. I think like looking back, there's no way I could have told my parents, nah, I don't want to go to college because I didn't have an alternative. It was just like in hindsight, like I think it's just a business, and I was a part of their business, and they just got like a $50,000 all my parents' money, a little bit of financial aid. I spent a lot of time just learning all this shit, getting stressed out with tests, exams, all this like default stuff. But my first year in my lawn care business taught me more than any of the 4 years in college, hands down. And it taught me real world applicable stuff on providing for myself, building a brand, marketing it, customer relationship, managing money, budgeting money, overhead, capital, like all that in my first year of lawn care. It taught me more than anything in my 4 years of college. And it costed way less money, way less stressful. And it was always fun. School would always stress me out. It always make me think like, oh, I got so much on my plate. But with the business, it was so like linear and zero sum, like get more customers, make more money, lower overhead. And you're just like, you're forced to learn and provide. And it just took me so much farther than college did, if you ask me. So but like to say to somebody like you shouldn't go to college, it's super relative to the person and like what their goals are and their parents' position and all this stuff. But me, like, nah, if I could go back in time, obviously I would skip it and just go straight into business and save that time and money and just go all in. But hindsight.
How long until you're making like these $500 in 5 hours work days? Because if anyone goes and checks out Zach's channel, like the most viewed videos, you do $50 a yard every 30 minutes. They're all lined up. So drive boom, 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 boom. 5 hour work day, $500 lawn care.
Yeah.
How long did it take from when you started lawn care to when you're making?
I would say money? So I break it up into the seasons. Like there's 4 seasons a year, of course. My first season doing it, like I was really only doing 1 to 2 yards a day. So 50 a day or 100 a day or 45 a day or 90 a day. It was like a little tiny spread like that. And then like that was cool with me because again, like even like looking back in comparison, like I could do that in 5 hours at my job, or I did it in 1 yard and I pretty much cleared the same amount of profit in that little one job. And then now I have a seed planted in that neighborhood and I know it's going to build from there. But for the first season of me doing it, it was like 1 to 2 yards a day, then 3. But then it wasn't until the second season to where I was doing like 300 a day because I'd have 6 customers. And then those $300 days from just the bread and butter mowing, they'd want now trim the shrubs or do the mulch and then do the fertilizer, all these little things where it would bump from like the bread and butter mowing, $50 times 6 would be 300. And then now they want the shrubs trimmed, that could be $100. They want the mulch, that could be $150. So I was making like these incongruent, like just like whatever labor they needed. It became $500 work days, but it was just kind of like mowing with like these other landscaping upsells. But for the consistent actual $500 work days where it's just mowing, like the thing that everybody wants to do because they all just want to mow the simple yards and get in, get out. They call it mow and go. That wasn't until my first full spring season, whenever the phone was ringing 24/7, the people were coming in, and then I just had so many seeds planted in all these neighborhoods that the customers were seeing me week after week. They wanted me to come give them a quote because they could just imagine that if I'm showing up, I'm doing a good job. So now they're curious and they want their yard done too. So in the beginning, like short answer, like in the second season, I was doing like these random jobs. Sometimes I make even 1,000 if it's just like a super tall yard on a big property and I just mow it 5 times. And then I haul off the debris and I cut a little tree branch or something. It was these weird, like you can make a lot of money just off the back with these jobs because they just come to you and they just have a giant property that needs maintenance. Or for the smooth, easy, like the
So
$500 workdays
why
where it's just consistent, that comes with having like 30, 40, 50 customers and they're all locked in and now you're just mowing a lot versus in the beginning,
why
you're just getting thrown
standardize?
jobs. Hmm?
Why standardize? Why not do all the random stuff if it pays well?
That's a good question. So it's like I did it until I got tired of doing these gigantic, like it's just me by myself or maybe with a worker. But if I'm relying on a worker, that's more mental bandwidth to make sure they show up, to make sure they're happy, to make sure that they're down for the labor. If I tell them we're going to be on this job for 4 to 5 hours, we're going to clean up this property, we're going to cut tree branches, we're going to haul mulch, we're going to put some down and all this stuff. It was cool, and I feel like by doing that, by doing these jobs where it's basically like take on all that comes your way. Like if they want this $500 cleanup, do it. And you have these 5 yards that want to be mowed, do it. In the beginning, I feel like you got to be an animal to build up the reserves. To not only do that, but you gain so much confidence with coding and landing and performing
Mm-hmm.
all these different types of labor. But the reason I stopped doing it was because I felt like everything should be like a long-term decision play. Like, am I going to be doing like these gigantic $700, $800 jobs on my own for the next like 5 years? Or could I even manage it? And it was like I could do it, but it's kind of a lot of taxing on my body to be doing all these landscaping type of jobs. But I know for a fact that I could just mow 10 yards in a row and get it done within maybe 4 hours. These 10 yards cookie cutter houses, and it's very little wear and tear on my body. The mower does the work for me. The
Mm-hmm.
trimmer does the work for me. I'm just basically just walking and just moving around, and that's my exercise, and everything is being done by the tools. I could do that 100%, and I enjoyed it. And even if I could make a lot of money from one job, I'd rather just get in, get out, and just do these little like ninja cuts where I do a yard, get in, get out, 30 minutes, do another one. And I felt like I enjoyed it more. The money might not have been like as lump sum, but it was sustainable and I enjoyed it. And I found more long term, I could see it more long term than me just doing these gigantic cleanups all the time.
Something that's nice about lawn care as a business is that recurring income. You're not selling one
Yeah.
time. So like, what's a
Mm.
customer worth? Do you have any customers that came on in the first season and then we're still going in the fourth season?
Yes, there was a lot of them. I would say maybe like I would always roll around with 50 plus or 50 plus or minus customers. That was always my sweet spot to where I could maintain. And that would fall into about 3 to 4 days of work if I was going full time with it, like 50 customers, 3 to 4 days a week. And then I think towards the end, before I came to Costa Rica, I would say honestly, maybe 25% of them were like the customers that I landed in my first year, my first season even. And those are the hardest to let go of because they were
Because,
like the ones that like the sentimental ones.
mm-hmm.
And they were like, it just goes to show like if you just price it right and you just show up and do what you say you're gonna do, then they're gonna want you and they're gonna be sad whenever you leave because you do it so well.
Mm-hmm.
But like I gave them a really good referral of somebody that I met, a new up and comer that was
Mm-hmm.
in the same position as me, and I trusted him and stuff. But a lot of them, like, honestly, I could have kept 100%, but I'm the one who, I'll take it back. Maybe like 10%, they'll tell me they want to cancel services because they're moving, or maybe they found somebody cheaper, or maybe they don't give me a reason. But a majority of the time, it's me telling them like I appreciate your services. I'm not going to be able to maintain it anymore because the margins weren't there because I quoted them so long ago to where the quotes that I'm getting in or the customers that I'm getting in now, I'm quoting them so high to where I have to trim some off the bottom because I can only handle so many. So if anything, the ones from the day one that I still could have been maintaining, I'm the one who either let them go or referred them to somebody else, or I even sold them to another company in the area because I was trying to just increase and streamline my margins for as good as they could be. The more I grew, the more reviews I have. Because in the beginning, when I was quoting just to land jobs to eat, it was like more conservative. But whenever you're at the top of Google and you could kind of set the bar, like you could just quote 20% higher and do the same job, but you can just command a higher price because you're ranked up higher. So I was just kind of
And
taking
because you
them
have
from
the
the
power
bottom
to
and just
say
putting them
no.
up. Exactly, yeah. It's like short answer,
Okay.
like 25%. Yeah.
So now you have this awesome lawn care business.
Uh-huh.
But now you're here in Costa Rica with this really cool online business that just did 10,000. So how did you go
Mm-hmm.
from there to here? Why did you go from there to here is also interesting.
Okay, so this is a conversation that I have with almost every person that signs up for my program, and we talk one-on-one. And I try to just make this like the most clear distinction out of all like the crazy stuff I tell them, like all the instructions and strategies. I tell them that whenever you go and you get your lawn care business set up, whether it takes you a month, 2 months, or a year, depending on how much like of a job or what job you have now, how much time you have to allocate towards the business, like whatever the spread of it is of you going into the business, whether it's 100% off the back and like quitting your job, or you're easing into it by doing it on the weekends until you get confident enough to quit your job, whatever it is. Like lawn care, it's just a way for you to step out of, like most people, they have a job but they don't like it. By getting into the lawn care business and getting your 30, 40, 50 customers, it could put you in a position to where you have, for the first time ever, complete control over your income and complete control over your schedule, to where there's no ceiling on what you can make. Because if you want to give yourself $1,000 raise, then it's just a matter of answering 5 of the callers that are calling you this week, and there could be 20 callers, and just taking them on. And if you get those 5 customers, then with the mowing and the upsell, it's like an extra $1,000 per month, and it's an extra maybe less than 5 hours of your time, because it doesn't take an hour for each customer. And by having that leverage to where you have money coming in, whenever I had 5,000 a month coming in on lock, because I had 40 plus customers and they were easy to maintain, all the yards were super small cookie cutters. I already quoted them and sold them. All I had to do was just show up and do the yard twice per month, and it takes 30 minutes each. I just had so much money coming in, and I had so much freedom and so much time in my brain to where like I had these other thoughts, like how I could build more vertically or horizontally, because the money was set and I had the freedom and I had like the savings, because lawn care just put a bunch of fiat in my bank account, to where I just had more, I was in more of a position to start thinking about what can I do next now to make more money, whether it's you could scale your business up, you could delegate out to workers, you could hire a crew, or you could start a YouTube channel and make money with these damn mowing videos, these before and afters that are getting millions of views, like I mowed this single mom's house, or I did this yard for free. Like those videos make like 1 million views as $5,000. Like you could make money doing that. You could scale it up and you could have workers, you could sell your business. But me myself, I always had like an inkling, because I always wanted to have an online business. So I always had like an inkling, like what can I do to make money from the computer? So I started a YouTube channel, and that, like one of my videos took off a lot. But then I was like looking at it like, okay, these people are asking me every single day, how do you market? How do you grow your business? What did you do? How do you invoice? So I saw that I could create a product that solves all these
Well,
questions
hang
and like
on,
gives them
because
a blueprint.
before you started the channel, you already knew what you're gonna sell, right?
Yeah.
Because
Okay, so I had the lawn care mentoring, right? And that was like straight business. Like I want to try to do the work for them. Like I'm going to run a Facebook ad, and then they reach out to me,
but
and
the
then
idea
I'm
is
going,
like anyone who listens to you is like clearly you're a master at this little business model. It's not
yeah,
$1 million a year, but it's
yeah,
60,000 a
mm-hmm,
year working 3 to 4
yeah,
days a week, and it's all
mm-hmm,
super optimized. So, and you're working outside. It's exercise. So,
yeah,
the idea is a lot of people want to learn that. A lot of people
mm-hmm,
want to quit their job. A lot of people want to mow lawns. A lot of people mow lawns
mm-hmm,
already and want to get better. So
mm-hmm,
why not
mm-hmm,
actually maybe you have more value teaching other people how to mow lawns
mm-hmm,
efficiently like you do.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think like just to go back on what you said about like how I got here, like I did the whole angle of like I'm gonna do the work for you. I'm gonna post your ads the same way that I did mine. I'm gonna run your ads. I'm gonna run your Google. But I ran into a scalability issue, because it's like I can't do this 100 times in a row. It burns me out. So I scrapped it. That's when I wanted to do personal training, and I was like personal training online business. I want to teach people how to get swole.
So you
And
were
then I was
doing
like,
that
okay,
before we
yeah.
started working together.
Yeah, I did that secretly like the first time before I ever reached out to you.
I
So it's
didn't
like
know.
cyclical. Like I go back and forth. So first long term mentoring didn't work. Personal training, online business didn't work.
Mhm.
So the reason Make Money Mowing started, like to finish off the story, was that one day in April of last year, I just got done working. I did a $500 work day, and I think I just drank a giant monster when I was still drinking Hello Monsters, and I was just amped up. And I just posted a video with my iPhone, just like, this is my 3 tool setup for $500 work days. And then I posted it, and then in that video, and it's still on my channel, I don't mention anything about a course. I didn't even think about a course or anything. I just said, like, this is my setup. I hope it helps y'all. If y'all have any questions, email me. And that was it. And I didn't even have the first idea for a course until like 3, 4 months later, whenever everybody was questioning me, asking me all these questions. then I was like, oh, okay, because I didn't know if I was gonna make like the done for you program or
Mm-hmm.
what I was gonna do, but I just threw the video up just like
Well,
on a whim, and then that's what.
you knew you were gonna teach lawn care.
Yeah, somehow,
Yeah.
some way. But that video was just spur of the moment, and that video got me like it hit 250,000 views in out of nowhere. I just got pumped. I guess like the title and the thumbnail was right. But then from there, it gave me the like the ability like to like see like okay, now I can make a product.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I want to do. I always wanted to teach lawn care, but that video was a win. But that video just worked out perfectly. So now I could create a product and I could give it to people so they could replicate my same business model. And that's pretty much how it all crazily happened,
I
just
do want to
randomly.
say though that it's not quite as easy simple as it sounds because like when we started talking, you started doing YouTube
Uh-huh.
and you started selling lawn
Mm.
care consulting or
Mm-hmm.
training, and it wasn't really popping off. And then you kind of went
No.
offline for a while. You went into
Mm-hmm.
hibernation. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what all you were doing. Obviously, you studied some things, and you came
Yeah.
back. So I mean, it looks like you went from 0 to 10,000 in a year, but really, it's like multiple
Mm.
years. It looks like your first video got
Mm-hmm.
250,000. That wasn't your first video because it wasn't your first channel, right?
Yeah, I
So
have a ton of videos unlisted that I posted, and I was just like, I don't like the way I'm talking. I don't like the whole look of it. And that's the thing. Like, I have so many videos unlisted that I experimented with, and it just goes to show like all the behind the scenes work. Like the surface level is like, yeah, the first video has got 250,000 views, but I have, like you said, so many videos that are unlisted that I just look at it for my own personal records, and I just laugh at them or like I'm happy about them. But definitely, there's so much more to it, and that's like it just goes to show all the background work that's always like maybe people don't talk about it, but yeah, I have a ton of videos that I was trying and like they weren't working and I didn't like them, but eventually that video like was me coming out of the hibernation, like the hyperbolic time chamber, and it finally worked. So it's always just a constant work in the background or in the foreground,
hmm
but always working. Like when I did the hibernation away from you, honestly, I don't even remember what I was doing, but I know for a fact like it was still always the goal of like build an online business, build a platform, just figuring out like the angle of it and stuff. And then I don't know if I was being productive or not, but whatever I did, it worked somehow, I guess. Because I never gave up. I just obsessed over it. I was like, no matter what, I'm still gonna figure this shit out, even as long as it takes or how stressful it is.
right? Like you think it's like, oh, it looks like an overnight success. It's like
Yeah.
bamboo grows roots for the first years and
Hmm.
then all of a sudden
Yeah.
shoots up out of the ground.
Hmm.
So I think that's one
And
thing
like,
that we can learn from this.
yeah, and like this is a whole nother thought. Like this will just be like a whole bunch of crazy tangents and stuff. But like you're saying, like it's not for everybody. And like I agree, like me building this online business and how much effort and stress and like sleepless nights, that's not a cliche, but it's true. Like staying up, like adjusting like the pages, the courses, like making sure the people who bought the course are happy, like making sure what I'm doing is optimal. Like I could teach people how to start a long term business and I've been doing that and it works. But for me to teach somebody how to start an online business with a course and like a recurring membership and like providing it, like I wouldn't even want to touch that with a 10-foot pole, even though I could make like 10 times as much because the value is so crazy because you can make money
Well,
from the
you
computer.
probably
You could do it
couldn't make that
anywhere.
much. Like
Yeah.
you're making 10,000 because you're a master of
All this stuff. All this
the
stuff that I've learned.
mowing,
Like,
not because you're
yeah.
a master of business in
Hmm.
general. So I mean, I think another
Yeah.
thing is niche down. It's like at the beginning
Hmm.
is it's like, do people even want to? Are there enough people who even want to pay to learn this? Turns out it's a huge
Hmm.
market. You could make. We'll check in next year. Maybe you make 100,000 a month.
Hmm.
But it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's like you.
Maybe down the line I agree, but like right now, like if somebody was like, Zach, teach me how to build an online business, like I would like I don't even know where to start. Like maybe that's like what we could talk about because you're mentoring me, like you said, like next year that could be the
Well,
squeeze. But right now, like I don't even know where I'd go with it. It's just so deep.
I mean, for those people listening as well, it's like for you, it's like the focus is online business, but it's only
Hmm.
because you're already a successful entrepreneur and you're a
Hmm.
master of something. So, I mean,
Hmm.
personally, because I've taught a number of people business, only people who
Hmm.
are already experts at a thing, but most of the people
Hmm.
that I work with are not, and they should have a job, and that's okay.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
I mean, I think that like online business is not for everyone. It's not for most people. Like
Hmm.
even developing a course is definitely not for most people. That's only for experts, right? So
Hmm.
most people aren't an expert, and that's totally okay. And you can have a job. But I think some of the
Hmm.
things that you can learn I mean, if
Mm.
you want to be successful in business, there's a lot you can learn from it. But if you want to be successful in anything, I think one of the things to learn from this, one is the patience of the waiting and growing roots. Another is the obsessiveness. Like clearly, I think anyone who listens to this is like, wow, this dude is super detail oriented, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're very focused on the details of this one thing, and
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely,
Mm-hmm.
in my observation, it's probably your biggest strength. And but for
Mm-hmm.
anyone, oh, that combined with
Yeah.
working hard, but yeah, just
Yeah.
focusing on the details and obsessing
Mm.
over
Mm-hmm.
something.
Yeah. And and I think like another thing I realize a lot now just being here in Costa Rica is like no matter what you're selling, like your product or your service, if it doesn't work and do what you say it's gonna do, then not like it's obvious, like it's so dumb, it's not gonna work. Like it just sounds cliche, but it's true. Like if you're like no matter how messy or how clean, like written out, whatever you're teaching, as long as it works, you could fine tune it and you could like adjust it little by little. But just like the meat and potatoes of it, it's got to get the job done and it's got to transform them from either whatever you're telling them, whether it's building a longer business, you got to teach them how to get the clients, how to manage the clients, how to make money. And if it's not working, then you as the business owner who's selling the product or like offering like this guarantee that it's going to work, it's not going to get any traction whatsoever. So whatever it is, it just has to work, whether it's clean or messy. And as time goes on, you can clean it up and make it more
So
like more done,
it is
more, I don't know,
working
like
for
yeah.
your people who buy the course. Then it's working well for people.
Yes, so much. They're getting
What's
these
like the
trade, like some of them are
craziest
make,
testimonial?
uh, I think Michael in Colorado, like I don't even know if I've ever made $1,000 a day in my own, but he commented inside the group and he's like, I just did my first $1,000 day with aeration, and he said he did it with his dad, and I was like, I don't even think I've ever made 1,000. I think I've made like 900 or 800 in a day with a worker, but just that, or like this other guy named Ruben, who I had this thingy on my channel called October Hustle Challenge, where I think I told the people that were watching the video, let's just spend the month of October doing all that we can, whether you have a small business or a big business, or even if you have a job, just the person that can show the most change or progress in whatever that they're doing. Then like I'll put you inside my program and I'll work with you and I'll do the Zoom calls with you. I'll help you grow your business. And then from there, like we can get your long term business started if you're starting out, or we could grow it if you already have one. And then Ruben, who was working, I don't remember his exact job, but he was in the fire extinguisher room in the video. And he was just talking about he's just depressed what he's doing. He doesn't like it. He wants to do lawn care. I think he had tried it, but he was having trouble. And then in the group, he just went kind of into hibernation himself. And then he posted this picture of like this job he wanted to do. And he was like, I'm thinking 1,600 for this quote. It's a total property cleanup in Florida. And then I was like, where you been? How are things? And he was just like, dude, it's been crazy. Like I've been full time for the past couple of months now. I've been loving it. And I wasn't going to tell you anything because I was going to wait until next October, which is 2 months from now, to do our 1 year, like my little check-in with you. And I wanted to do a Zoom call with you and then we could talk face to face just like this.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be like in 2 months, we'll do a call with him. But that one was crazy just because of how dark of a spot he said he was in when he has kids and stuff. But now he's just been full time and he's just been so damn busy with work. He hasn't even been checking in with me because he's just been working and stuff. So I think that one's super cool too. And one more, like Christian was this not little, but he's like, I forgot, 22, 23. He's next to Arkansas, Missouri, like on the border. And then in the group, like same thing with him. He's been quiet. He's been a ghost. And out of nowhere, he posts this little thing where he's like, I did $1,000 quote for this lady. I don't know if I underpriced it or not. What do you guys think? He showed us the job. And then I was like, dude, where have you been? And he said, he's like, dude, it's been crazy. Like I just grossed 5,100 for this past 7 days for this week. And then he was like, it was just gross. I don't know how much he netted, maybe like 4,000, but just little things like that. So these people, like,
4,000
they're
a
getting
week
so
is
busy.
200,000 a year.
Yeah, I think I put these are all on my website, so on makemoneymowing.com. All the testimonials I just mentioned, they're all there on like the main page, like all their little wordings and stuff. But it's just crazy. Maybe they're just working so hard they're not even checking in with me because I'm only working with the new people and I'm like keeping up. But eventually they get so busy to where they just run off into the distance and they just come back whenever they have something to say. And it's just crazy seeing that and stuff.
Okay, one more question for you,
Mm-hmm.
because my girlfriend's cooked dinner. It's getting cold. I feel bad.
Oh, I gotta show you something too. Okay, look at this too. This is like super off topic, but like me being in Costa Rica, like my girl also
Okay,
wanted
that's
to
what I
have a
want to ask
business.
you though. Why are you in Costa Rica?
Okay, because she's from the Philippines, and I met her there, and I wanted to be with her, and I want to build a family with her, but she can't enter America. So we were doing fiance paperwork where she could come to America. You know, it's only supposed to take 8 months, but now it's been over a year and a half basically because COVID shut down the processing for it for the embassies. So Costa Rica is neutral territory. We can both show up here, so that's why we're here. And whenever the paperwork is done, we'll go back to America, and then I go back to mowing and stuff. But she wanted to have a way she can make money too, because she had a business in the Philippines. But we've been trying to figure out what she could do, and then it's crazy because we were going to send money to her parents in the Philippines. She had an envelope of $500. We were walking into town. We get there, and then she can't find the envelope, and she lost her last $500 cash. Like she sold her car, everything,
Damn.
spending money, and then her last 500, she lost the stack just on the
Damn.
ground. So doing that, like it was like, oh, there's a loss. But then we realized, like, okay, what could we do? So I got her a sewing machine because she wanted to sew, and then now she turned it into a business, and she's making these scrunchies. She didn't even know she likes sewing, but she's super good at it. She learned how to make these scrunchies that have a zipper for secret stash if you want to put money or
Oh,
like candy in
that's
there or
cool.
something. And then look, she doesn't speak Spanish, but she's translating these signs. Where we're gonna go set up a shop for her like in the downtown area tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
She's gonna sell it, and she actually sold 3 of them, and she made her first $15 to these Dominican people that came by because the Airbnb we're staying at, the owners wanted to. They lived on the street. The people wanted to come see our animals, so they came over here. There was these 4 Dominicans from New York, and then they came over, and then they saw this, and they wanted to buy her stuff. So she made her first sales.
That's how
with
Fubu
that.
started.
Yeah,
That became a
that's
billion-dollar
cool.
brand.
For us by us.
Okay, last.
Yeah. Okay. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Well, you already said it was why Costa Rica. Okay, last question is just a shill for me. Like, should people hire?
Okay.
Who should hire
Okay.
me as a coach? It's not for everyone.
Okay. Okay. I can't believe I neglected this part. Okay. So, who should hire you? I feel like I don't think I had the product when I first reached out to you. I didn't have any infrastructure for make money mowing built. I kind of just had ideas, and that's kind of a shot in the dark. And it's like you also took a swing by hiring me and putting your time and effort into me because I could have just been a waste of your time and stuff, right? But I think if I don't know, because I want to say like it'd be better if you have something already established. But even if you
Well,
don't, if I could give a bunch of cliche answers,
yeah.
I'm trying to not though. Like if you like okay, for one, you can't be broken. You can't just have like a gallon, like a lifetime of despair in your heart, and you want Travis to fix your problems for you. Like you gotta be kind of already cleaned up, matured, like walking pretty like with like understanding of the world and stuff. Maybe like a good age would be I don't want to exclude 21-year-olds, but I think at 24, 25, that's when you really wake up and you kind of
Hmm.
see the world for what it is and stuff. If I could put an avatar, I think that's a good age. At least that's when I woke up. But who should hire Travis? I mean, if you're obsessed with the right things, if you're obsessed with business and health and making money, and you just want to like you have okay, you got to have something. I don't know what it is or how to call it, but if you want to turn out something into something bigger, then I think you should hire Travis. And I think he does a really good job of just okay. Think about this. It's hard to answer, but every time we've been doing these phone calls for the past year, like I'm paying Travis monthly, and it's a good investment. It's a good amount of money. But every single time I'm done with a call, I'm thinking like, or every single time before I do a call with him, I'm thinking like, okay, maybe this last call, and then I'll finish it off because it's a lot of money. But every time we get on the phone for the hour, hour and a half, he always blows my mind with these different topics and aspects that I don't see for my business or myself, and he sets me straight to where every single time I'm like, okay, one more call, and it's been almost a year because every single time he provides so much value to me, to where I'm like, damn, I don't think it's worth to let this go for the money I could save. I think it's worth to have this person overlooking what I'm doing and helping me and just like giving me like an outside perspective that I wouldn't have for myself. I think that's super valuable. But I think especially like if you want an online business model, I think Travis is the go-to because he did it himself. The only reason I hired him is because I knew he was doing it with magic. And no
Hmm.
matter what you're doing, whether it's
By the way, what's
this business,
interesting is at the
mm,
time, like, you're the only one who's like online business focused. Like most of
mm.
my clients are not not doing
Okay.
business.
Okay, that's interesting. I don't know. Okay, I think if you because I don't want to just put you in the box of like business improvement because a lot of it is
There's a
also
lot of
like I'll talk
jobbies,
about
you know. I've helped a lot of
yeah like
people get raises. Like that's us normies here. Yeah.
I think like in a lot of the times like I'll get on the phone, I'll start talking numbers like I did this, I did these sales, or I didn't do this, and then you'll like reset me and be like, well, how do you like what are you like besides the money, like how are you like what are you feeling, and then we'll get to like the core nitty gritty stuff that translates into the money, and that's super overlooked, and it's easy just to get distracted by numbers and stuff. But I think I don't know if you're if you're watching this far into the video, then you should just reach out to Travis right now for a consultation, because obviously you know there's something here, and I don't know what else I could say besides, if you're still watching the video at this point, then I think it'd be in your best interest and your future self would thank you if you just call Travis or set up the consultation call and see what he can do for you, and then he'll tell you himself if he's got what you need, or if you got some more work to do, then check back in at a later time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's a link down below for that, and then for yeah, those of you watching who want to know more about Zach, just type in "make money mowing" on YouTube, and uh,
Mm.
and yeah. So much love, everybody. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button, and then yeah, go spam Zach's channel also. So thanks for watching, and
Mm.
then yeah, those of you who are interested in the coaching, you should go check it out.